Um, First of all, I'm not going to be at family reunion, which is would
Mhm.
be the time that I would get to see everybody, hug everybody, hang out with everybody, and so I have to give y'all a virtual hug because I won't be there, because I'll be on vacation. And there's the beautiful Lisa, and so I wanted to have the call so I can see everybody. I also wanted to have the call so all of my coaching clients can see and collaborate with each other as well. Because what I want to do is create a coaching community,
Mm.
right? Just, because a lot of things we talk about are across the board. Like I'm talking to all of you about some of the same things. And then, of course, we have our individual things that we talk about that are specific to you and your market center. Um, so those are the two main reasons. And then I wanted to see how you did in January, and I figured if we could all talk together about some of our successes and our challenges, that might be useful.
Mhm.
Because oftentimes, as in the MCA role, it can feel like you're on an island by yourself, and that it's like I'm the only one that's dealing with X, and in reality we all have some of the same common challenges. Would you agree with that?
Mhm. For
Yeah.
sure.
So does anybody want to share what went really well in January for you? Anybody? I know y'all talk to me
I
when we're one-on-one.
I'll I'll talk. I have a new assistant MCA. That was a big deal
Yay.
to hire and make that hire pretty quickly with no gap. And she's doing great, having to slow down and train. And that's good for me too, to get my head back in the game
Okay.
and on some things that I was probably a little too leveraged on. And just get my head back in the game and learn that with her has been good. So I'm excited about that. And I'm glad January's over.
Okay. All right. Well, what were some of the things that you reconnected with or re-engaged with that you felt like you may have leveraged too much of?
Well, our former assistant MCA was an MCA in another market center, smaller market center. And so she came completely trained. And I'm just learning how important it is to slow down and get my head in the game and not just teach the minutia, but to teach the big picture.
Okay.
So just really zooming out in how I train. So a specific example, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that was just been the biggest thing, is just not taking it for granted that something's known. So it's been cool to give background on why we do what we do.
Okay.
I hope.
And then maybe evaluate if you still need to do what you're doing
Yes,
the way you're doing it, or if that reason that you were doing it even still exists.
exactly right, because we had a classic example of that today. That we also have a new director of first impressions who's killing it in her role, and she was asking me a question about something that reserving conference rooms. So we have 9 conference rooms, we have a big training room, we have a system to do that, and it's a little messy. And she was asking me, do you mind if I do take this? And I said, you know what, I would love for you to own it and then tell me what. Let's make a system. And so we're working together to create a system. And she said, I really love owning things. And of course you want that, because that's telling me she has leadership. So
Right.
it was really cool. So I said, put together a plan, let's talk about it and make it work, make it happen. So that was cool.
Yay. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Lisa or Jenny, other than being excited that January is over, did something
Sorry.
as you blew through January, what worked well? What are you most excited about because it's over? Right. Anybody? Nobody?
I guess I've recently started doing meetings with our agents, with 4 of us from the leadership team, and having meetings, just not one-on-one, but 4-on-1 with our agents, and those have been really great. So I'm really focused on those and pumped up about doing those.
Yeah. So what are you learning from your agents? How are your agents responding? What are some of the comments that you're getting from them?
They're really excited and appreciative that we're taking the time to meet with them. So it's not just me taking the time, our tech coordinator is there to take the time, our ATL is there to take the time, our agent services is there. So one of us, so I think they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really surrounded by a lot of people that can help me, not just one person, but a lot of people care. And I feel like we are finding solutions to what they're frustrated with. So things that we didn't even know could be an issue with them, we're able to figure those out and get them fixed for them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lisa, I don't want to leave you out, and I don't want to force you to talk yet. I know you. If you speak, it's going to be valuable when you speak.
I know. I'm just glad January's over as well because of all the flu. But I think for us, at least in our market, we saw an uptick in gross agents for January, which is exciting.
Nice. Nice. Fantastic. So one of the other things that I've asked all of you about is, we've been talking about 411s and your growth plan and your GPS. And I just want to add some clarity around that, right? Obviously, we want to have the GPS for the market center because we want to know where you're going as a leadership team so that we can be in alignment with that. But specifically around the growth plan, mostly what you see on the growth plan is for you personally. And I'm not sure that I shared it from that perspective as I was asking for the growth plan. And this was an aha for me as well. When I'm looking at the GPS and I'm looking at the 411, there's that piece in the middle, which is the growth plan. So who do I have to become? What skills do I need to develop or improve in order to execute that, to reach that goal, to be able to do those activities? Is there something that I need to learn new or different? Is there a different perspective that I need to have? Is there something I need to read? Is there a class that I need to go to? And so having that middle piece that to be able to develop myself in order to hit the goals, whether they're the market center goals or your own personal goals, right? So one of my goals is to increase my client base in 2020, right? So one of the things I need to work on personally, I need to work on asking you guys for a referral, right? Just like we tell our agents. Yet I also need to work on my lead generation skills, right? Because it's not only going to come from getting referrals, it's also going to come from me just doing basic lead generation. And so what does that look like for me? I also want to increase my skills as a coach. So what classes do I need to take? What things do I need to read? How much more often do I need to ask you guys, how am I doing? Right? Not as a way of, like pumping myself up, but really, am I giving you what you need? And if I'm not, let's talk about it so that I can make sure that I'm delivering at the highest level possible. So just having that growth plan, for example, there's MAPS has this MAPS models course. I don't know if you all have heard about it. So I'm going to attend that in March. I would love to have all my clients attend that with me because you can use that information with your agents as well. So yeah, I'll be doing things like that. And, all the book recommendations that I have made, I'm reading those books too. What I did learn, in all transparency, I don't like to read as much as I used to. Just seems to be, and the problem with that is because I'm moving at such a fast pace, when I sit still to read, I drop off to sleep. So maybe I do like it. I just don't have time.
It's not just you. You're not alone
Yep.
with that.
Yeah.
So I'm becoming really familiar with Audible, right? The only challenge with that for me is when I do read, I like to highlight, take notes, so, put little stickies in there. It's a little challenging to do that when you're listening to it on Audible. So if you all have any hacks or any skill, any tricks on how to overcome that, obviously if I want to learn some new skills and grow, I'm going to have to kind of be able to do that, right? So anything y'all can offer on that is great. So I don't know. Go ahead,
Crystal.
Yeah.
The MAPS models class got my attention too. So tell me what you think we would get from that.
Well, what you will get from that is is a greater insight into asking questions, like
Yeah.
from a coaching perspective, asking questions, but asking from a different perspective. So this MAPS models course, Gary and Matt Teeter and Jay Papasan,
Mhm.
I believe they collaborated on this. So I'm really, really excited about it. Because of some of the stuff that I know. I mean, some of the stuff I know just from being a coach, right?
Mhm.
And some things I've learned or I've seen. What I've seen, I haven't been to the class yet, but learning from a different perspective. So they have one for agents and they have one for leadership. I'm going to go through both of them, and you can
Okay.
register for that on my KW on
Where's that
KWU.
one at?
It's in Austin.
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's March the 9th,
So is it
the
kind of
8th, the 9th, 10th, and 11th.
there's maybe some concepts from coaching skills camp and
Probably.
or
Mhm.
yeah, okay. Okay.
Probably building on those. So those are the kinds of things that I have on my growth plan, in addition to my personal, lose another 10 pounds, the usual health stuff that people have, eat better, sleep more,
Mm.
so that I can sit down and read a book without falling asleep, right? But one of the things that I did, and I don't know if you all can see my whiteboard back here, I have some writing. You probably can see that I have some writing on it. But one of the things that I did, and I want to go through this with you all as well, is a time audit. Because one of the things that I hear across the board, professionally, personally, is I just don't have enough time to do whatever it is I want to do, right? So I found this time audit. I heard it. Somebody did this with me, and I thought it'd be a good idea to share it with you all as well, because I know y'all have as much extra time as I do, right? And then going through this time audit, though, I was like, maybe it's not that I don't have enough time. It's just how I am, what I'm doing with the time that I have. Because we all have 24 hours a day, right? At the end of the day. So if you have 24 hours a day times 7 days in a week, how many hours is that? Don't cheat. No, I'm just kidding. Yep. Yeah. How many hours? Somebody, anybody.
168.
In a week.
168. Yep. 168. Okay. So let's just say, just for kicks and giggles, you sleep 8 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 times 7 is
56.
56.
Yeah.
So how many hours does that leave for waking hours?
112.
112 hours. 112 waking hours.
Yeah.
And let's just say you work on average, 50 hours a week. So out of those 112 hours that you're awake, you work 50 hours, which personally, side note, that's too many. And but just we're gonna go with this for the example. How many does that leave you with?
62.
62. Okay.
62.
Yep. So let's say that you took 20% of your waking hours and allocated that to personal development, your health, and wealth building. What's 20% of the waking hours?
12.
12.4.
How about 20% of the total hours? I don't like 12.4.
Oh.
And I'm going through this the same with y'all, the same way I went through it myself. I'm like, what? That's not the answer that I want.
33 hours.
33. I got 23.
What?
But I could be confused.
Okay, wait.
See, I didn't write that part down.
Hold on. The time awake or the remaining
awake.
hours. Okay. Waking hours.
Waking hours. Let's
22. Yeah, that's 22. I'm sorry.
okay. That's okay. I got 23 because I you know,
Rounded up. Yeah.
rounded up.
Okay.
Yeah. So you subtract the 23 from the 62, and what do you have left?
39.
So you got 39 hours left to do whatever, in theory, right? So I looked at it and I thought, really? Where exactly is that 39 hours, right? Because personally, I don't work 40 hours a week. So I mean, I don't work 50 hours a week. So now I'm up to 49 hours. What am I doing with it?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
So it made me think, and you all will probably hear this over the course of our coaching calls when we're talking about 411 and time blocking. You know, if you work 50 hours, are we being as purposeful in those 50 as we can be? Right. And for me, purposeful during that time is I get to the end of the day and I feel like I've actually accomplished something. I don't get to the end of the day, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't get anything done today. Or where did the day go? What did I do? Right. So just adding. So for me, and I hope this is the case for you as well, that was like an eye opener. But now I get to figure out what to do with that 39 to 49 hours. You know, if I really want to spend more time reading, or I love to garden. So how in the summertime, I don't think I'll have a problem with that, right? Because I'm outside as much as possible in the spring and summer and fall there. So what could you do with 39 extra hours? Well, they're not extra, but what could you do with 39 hours?
Probably a lot.
Probably a
A lot
lot.
more than I have been doing.
Yeah.
That's a big aha, because that average is 5.5 hours a day. Obviously, you'll have more on the weekends.
Wow. See, I didn't even break it down to that level. 5.5 hours a day. Huh. Let's see. Hmm. Thanks, Adrian. Look,
Well, you're welcome, Crystal.
I have to write that down on my board.
Well, it kind of confused me, because I thought I don't have time after I get home from work. I don't have 5.5 hours before I go to sleep sometimes. So
Yet, might you have two and a half hours when you wake up in the morning,
of
and
course.
3 hours in the evening when you get home,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think the same thing as I carted my laptop down to my room last night because I was gonna sit in the bed and finish sending out notes, and I was like, I'm just not. I'm just I'm not, because it's 10 o'clock and I should be going to sleep. I shouldn't be here working. And that was one of those days that I said, where did the day go? What did I do? Yeah. So
Thank you for
even,
that transparency
you're welcome.
and being real, because that's
Yeah.
we
I
deal
don't
with
know
that.
any other way to be. Right. And even when I was in the market center, like, what in the world happened? Now, the thing about being in the market center, which I learned to do, toward the end of my time in the market center, was just get up and leave. Like, literally just get up from my desk and leave. Now, that I have to make that more of a conscious effort working from home, because I have a tendency to get up and leave and bring the stuff
With
to the
you.
next room,
You.
which is not cool at all. So just something to think about. And you can even share that with your agents, right? Imagine sharing this with an agent when they're like, I don't have time to lead generate. I don't have time to lead follow up. Right? What are you doing? What's
Yeah.
happening? Yeah. Was that helpful? Was that a
Very
good
much. Thank
exercise?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Mhm.
and I found this. So if you want to track your time while you're at work, I found an app called Toggle, Toggl, and you can download a little floating desktop app, and um, you can categorize your work. So if you're working with an agent or if you're working on billing or whatever, you can categorize it. And there's literally a stop and start function. So it doesn't take time really to track your time,
Okay.
but you can stop and start if you switch tasks a lot, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're in the zone and you switch tasks and you're in the zone. And it really is very eye-opening if you track your time at work too, even if you put in like personal time, like personal call, or can you get up and walk around, or like it really is eye-opening. So
Pick up your phone and see a text message. Oh,
sure.
thank you for sharing that.
So if you choose to track
If
your time at work.
if you choose to.
Yeah.
Well, I would submit to you that tracking it everywhere, since, now we got 39 hours we got to find,
Mhm.
right? Because obviously we're doing something somewhere,
Right.
or not,
Or
or just sitting around.
mhm.
Interesting.
I'm
I
sorry,
started adjusting
it
my
blew me
calendar.
out. What was the app that you were talking about?
Toggle, TOGGL. She said I put it in the chat box.
Oh,
Also,
okay, good. Thank you.
yep,
You're welcome.
it's pretty cool.
And you can graph. It does cool things, like you can graph like where did my time go, and it does percentages and stuff like that. So it's cool. Yeah, easy.
Interesting.
Kind of like that app on my iPad that tracks how much time I spend playing a game.
Speaking of the 39 hours,
Can we put that in
Speaking
personal growth? Is that
We
going
can.
personal growth?
Yeah, well, maybe. It's my way of calming down. Fishdom calms me down. It just
Yeah,
helps me
yeah,
go to
yeah.
sleep. Now y'all know all my secrets, right? All right. So yes, I wanted to share so I could see you all and wish you a happy, 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 happy family reunion. It will be the first one that I've missed in 15 years, so
wow.
I'm just a
Ow.
little bit, sad. I am sad that I'm not going to get to see everybody, because I really look forward to seeing everybody and just, reconnecting. But I'll see y'all at Mega Camp there. But the other thing I wanted to ask is, would you all be interested in having a group Zoom call once a month or once a quarter where we could just come together? I'm thinking it would be the week of transmittal.
I love that.
Mhm.
Sorry, did I do a very visible reaction there?
Very visible. Very visible.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's a fantastic idea, Crystal.
Well, and it doesn't come without some thought, because
course.
if anybody is going to cancel or ask to reschedule a call, it's going to be during transmittal week. And
Mhm.
so I figured, why not just make that easier on everybody else, right? Is that just transmittal week? Look, transmittal week, we have a group call. We can talk about whatever, right? I can come to the call with a specific topic, or it can just be an open mastermind. Give everybody a chance to connect and kind of debrief after transmittal.
Mhm.
And the other thing, so I'll make a note of that. I'll look at the calendar and schedule that on there. And then the other thing I wanted to know is if you all would be interested in having a private Facebook page,
Yeah.
just for my coaching clients. So that way, because sometimes I want to tell you guys something and I might end up saying one thing to one, and then I get to the next one, I was like, oh, I didn't tell 3 or 4 people. And sometimes I'll send the email out, and email, kind of gets, for me, I'm just going to talk about me. I get a lot of email. I have 4, 5. I have a lot of email that I manage. So sometimes I miss stuff. But I will also set up a private uh, a Facebook group just for my coaching clients. So if you want, and then if you all do have a referral, you have somebody that you think I would be able to help or would benefit from being in MAPS coaching, just let me know. I'd be happy to do a free call with them. Ordinarily, I would do this at family reunion, and I'm not going to be there. So you can still, if you have somebody, take them to the booth. tell them, to tell the people we're interested in Crystal
Mhm.
or not or whoever. Anyway, so yes, I'll set up the Facebook group and I will set up the monthly Zoom call. Okay, y'all want to do it monthly during transmittal week,
I love that.
and then we'll have three one-on-one calls and then a group call.
Yep,
That would be
that'll
Sound
work.
good? That sounds good. You guys get to decide because you're on the phone. You showed up for the call. Showing up has its benefits. So, um, all right. So we won't have any calls next week. I know I told my Tuesday clients that we would have calls on Tuesday, but then I thought, well, it's not fair for them to have a call and nobody else is having a call.
Mhm.
So we won't have any calls next week. No calls the following week. We will resume on Tuesday, the 25th of February. I should be over my jet lag by then. We'll see. And have so much fun at family reunion. I'm gonna try to like Skype in or do the live stream. Maybe.
Just enjoy your vacation.
Well, I'm gonna do that too. I said maybe, but if it's
Yeah,
a
okay.
I was gonna say
time,
relax and
It's okay.
unwind.
yeah. I mean, but I want to hear all the big things that are gonna be released. I mean, I'll hear them when I get back, right?
Yes,
Okay, we'll
will
see.
go be
Yeah, that'll
present
be
on your
cool.
vacation.
I'll be present. I'll be present on my camel ride. That's what I'm most excited about.
That's awesome.
It's a
Where are
little
you
thing.
going?
We're going to flying to Dubai, and then we're gonna
Ooh.
cruise the United Arab Emirates. So we're gonna hop from like Abu Dhabi and Sierra something I can't pronounce,
Oh,
and
you will have a great time.
Doha, Qatar, and Bahrain. I actually have a girlfriend that's in Bahrain.
Oh, that's
She
cool.
Cool.
she's a contractor over there, so I'll get to see her and my husband and my daughter. One of my oldest daughter and I are going, and then it's a whole group trip, but we've planned it for about 18 months. We've been planning on it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's finally here. So
Good for
yeah.
you.
Have fun.
Yeah, so thank you all for being on the call. I will get those groups set up before in maybe by the time we
Ish.
get back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I have vacation brain now. I confess.
Yeah.
I confess.
Just
Yes.
yeah.
You're
Yes.
Just
okay.
let it go. You'll catch up.
Just
You'll
let
be
it go. Yeah.
go.
Crystal.
But I'll miss seeing you guys at family reunion. But have fun. Of course, the first question is going to be, how was it? What'd you learn? All that kind of stuff. So,
okay.
all right. So I
Cool.
will talk to y'all the week of the 25th, the 24th.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, ladies. All
Bye.
righty.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good time.
Bye.